This is AARP's My Generation. And here are your hosts, Greg Williams and Cynthia Steele-Vance.
All right, Greg, confess. What is your latest passion? If I had to tell you mine, I'd say it's this new show called My Generation.
And I'd have to say, Cynthia, that is some really serious pandering. But to be honest, I think I love my job, but I'd have to say my rededication to golf is my newest passion.
And my passion is really my children at this point in my life.
Well, then maybe I better back up a step and say it's my wife who's my newest passion. And when it comes to our careers, more and more Americans seem to be pursuing their passion at work. The latest workplace wisdom says the average American will change careers more than 3 times. So if you're thinking about snagging your dream job, you'll want to focus on this story. You could say it's all about the big picture. Bobby Haas likes the view from the top. As a successful Dallas businessman, he began his career in law, but quickly moved into the investment world and to his own firm, Haas, Wheat & Partners.
Hi, Christine.
Success came early, and around the age of 50, Bobby decided it was time to pursue some new options.
I sat down and I asked myself the question, what do I really enjoy doing tremendously, even though I may not be good at it? Because if I'm more than halfway through with my life, I might as well spend the remainder of it doing what I feel very passionate about.
Teaching on college campuses was one path, but he also left the skyscrapers behind for a different view.
I became interested in photography initially just as amateur. I was going to Africa for the first time in 1994, and I decided to buy my first camera, simply to record what I saw.
4 years later, and many return trips to Africa, he self-published his first book of photography. Bobby's passion for taking images continued, but as someone who enjoys a high vantage point, he hopped a helicopter to look at the African animals from another angle.
Once I had that experience, I felt exceedingly comfortable in the air. I felt my eye and hand and camera were working differently than on the ground.
Oh, we got his hump in the shadow.
And I felt I could do something that was different than what I had seen.
Very nice. Okay. We got him.
And so the self-proclaimed risk-taker started his first aerial project with a canvas of Africa, which turned into his first book with National Geographic and a full-fledged career in photography. Now, the photos from his second National Geographic book are hanging from D.C. to Dallas, while Bobby crosses the Atlantic to share his latest images worldwide. Through the Eyes of the Condor was a 2-year undertaking. It was inspired by the iconic bird whose path he traced to capture the breadth and beauty of Latin America.
As I sped through the clouds with Bobby Haas, he was showing me my native land as my ancestors had longed to see it.
Joining him on one leg of the trip over her native country was Peruvian-American author Maria Arana.
He proposed this thing, which was, to me, so far out of my experience. It's not something I do. I'm a armchair warrior. I don't necessarily take the adventurous route.
It was off to the left side.
I thought it would be fun to have the writer along for that segment. So we spent about a week together over Peru, and it was absolutely delightful.
He would find a million things that I wouldn't have looked at. But then when I saw them on the digital camera, they were so just surprising. Just to see how he worked was not necessarily seen through my eyes at all, or through my perceptions of this place where I had grown up. But he was opening the visual experience of Latin America. He was just opening it up for those of us who spent time on the ground.
Bobby's work has left a lasting impression on many. One standout, the Yucatan flamingos.
We came across this very large group of flamingos in very shallow water. The flamingos kept moving and forming different patterns, and we did not get too close, so we went break up the flock. And we started to drift away. I look over my shoulder, and they're beginning to form the shape of a flamingo.
Beyond the thrill of taking photos from the air, the experience is spiritual for Bobby, and what he wants most from his art is to share his love of the earth.
I think the main impression that I would like people to take away from my photography is, number one, It's a magnificent planet. Our home is a great home, and we should do everything we can to preserve it. And secondly, that man is not the whole story. There's a great deal of beauty, there's a great deal of interest and drama that goes on all over this planet that has nothing to do with man.
Wow, Bobby Haas is really the role model for reinventing yourself. Greg, what do you think he'll do next?
Well, he says he wants a gig playing guitar with the Beach Boys, and I wouldn't bet against it. Haas's latest photo collection is available now from National Geographic.